Welcome back to your favourite podcast. Hopefully your favourite podcast. It's my favourite podcast. I listened to an episode in the car this morning and I was laughing out loud. I was having such a good time.
I've literally forgotten how to speak. Like, I just looked at you and just went,
Words.
open mouth, just nothing coming out.
I can feel you staring into my soul there.
I feel like I have such a laugh when I'm editing the podcast and just watching us just cracking up. Like, I cannot not laugh. I'm just sat there giggling to myself.
I never thought I was a funny person, but now my confidence is boosted.
We get the giggles so often. Maybe no one else finds it funny. Maybe we're the only ones that find it funny.
That would make me quite upset because what kind of sense of humour would that make us have? Very abnormal one.
Very weird.
But anyway, the episode that you're about to watch or listen to is going to be all about food freedom and our personal journeys. But before we jump into that, we're going to intro with our wins and wobbles, of course.
Yes, and you will notice we are in different clothes because we pre-recorded the actual topic, food freedom, but we didn't do our wins and wobbles because we wanted them to be up to date. And then I ended up back in the comfort zone in time to film it. So
how did you get here?
Teleported, yeah.
Oh, magic.
Mm-hmm.
Love that. I was going to say thank goodness we waited because I feel like I've had a pretty eventful week.
Have you?
Yeah.
Well,
this is going to be my win.
okay.
I've had plans pretty much every day for like maybe over a week, like 12 days straight.
Wow.
Well, you were here. When did you leave? Well, you're not a plan, but...
Am I unplanned? No. I didn't just rock up.
But like, we didn't have to leave the house. Like, having you here doesn't feel like effort, do you know what I mean? That's what I mean. So, I mean, I saw you, which was great. Why do I sound like such a mean person?
You're like, guess it was okay that you're in my house. When was that? I don't remember.
No, neither do I.
Okay.
But this is where it started. That's how long it's been.
Wow.
So
every single day since I last saw you.
I've done something.
Okay, wow.
I'm just going to tell you. If you don't know, I'm a very introverted homebody. Like, I saw a TikTok the other day where this girl, like, she charges her battery by being around other people. Yes, you charge my battery. Most other people don't. No hate to anyone else. That feels really mean as well. But
no,
you know what I mean?
don't think it's mean. I think it's just like there are a lot of times when in social situations it does take more effort than
that's it.
Not like
yeah.
It's more taking effort than it is giving energy.
Yeah, your energy givers and your energy takers.
Yeah.
It's probably because I don't have anyone that I'm really as close to as I am you, apart from like my boyfriend and my family. So if I'm around someone, like, you're having to think of things to say. Whereas around you, I'm just myself. So it was great fun. We have great times. Yeah. So I saw you, then my parents came, which was lovely, but we went out to a cafe, so that's obviously effort. The day after that, I saw my boyfriend's parents. Then my sister came up to visit. She got on a 2-hour train to come and visit me. Aww. Bless her. That was such a lovely day. But we went for coffee and we went charity shopping, which was really fun. Oh, we just like had to do like so many errands, like fixing my boyfriend's car, which took like 2 days of driving around places. Then we went to London.
Yeah, that looked so nice.
It was, honestly,
guys,
such a lovely day.
Jaycie voluntarily went into London.
What?
Crazy behaviour.
Me 2 weeks ago would be like, are you okay? Beautiful day. Didn't go to Central. I think that's what made it okay. We went to West London.
Southeast West,
yeah. No, that's actually so wrong. South. Never eat shredded wheat. That makes me sound so silly.
Weren't you in the north? What area
Never
was it?
eat shredded wheat. Southwest. Kensington. Bougie.
Is that not north of the river?
Yeah.
No, my geography of London is so... Like, whenever I ask someone where they live in London, I literally don't know why I ask, because they'll tell me and I'm like,
I know what that is.
Not a clue where that is. Like, that could not be in London and I would still just nod and agree.
Sorry, I've also got like a gurgle in my throat there.
Oh.
Yeah.
We did just eat lunch, so that's probably why.
That makes sense. But yeah, it was a lovely day. It was very quiet, which was surprising. We had a nice lunch, walked about. We're on Saturday now. I'm losing track of the day.
Today?
No, today. Oh, no, it's not Saturday.
It's not Saturday.
But I've just been a busy bee.
Okay.
And it's been great because I don't feel like I'm tired, where that amount of plans normally would drain my battery very heavily.
The blue sky's helping?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm in such a good mood, if you can't tell. Mm-hmm. But the blue skies are literally changing my life.
I feel like they've completely turned my mood around.
Yeah.
Like, I'm literally...
I'm
waking up and I'm so excited.
Yeah, you messaged me the other day. You're like, I'm having a boogie whilst I
was
brush
dancing.
your teeth?
Yeah, I was dancing while brushing my teeth.
What?
That's not me.
It is you. Whoa.
It is you do.
It is you now. I'm getting
It is you
overexcited.
now.
But to sum that massive ramble up, because I got so confused there. Been out a lot, feeling energised. Happy days.
Love to hear it.
Love to hear your win.
Oh, my win's a little bit, I feel like maybe unexpected if you know anything about me. And
Do I know it?
might seem a bit rogue. And I would also like to say this is not an ad because it's going to sound like a weird product mention, but it's not.
I'm intrigued.
I really struggle to take tablets. I do take medication, but I would never stick to taking vitamins because swallowing extra tablets is just not something I want to do in my morning.
Same.
Swallowing them, can't do it.
It honestly takes me about like 5 gulps of water to get one down. Yeah, I don't know why.
And even when they're going down my throat,
and you feel them and they start fizzing.
I get so in my head about it. I hate taking tablets, so I never ever stick to taking vitamins. I have been a little bit ill this week. You might be able to hear from my voice, but I feel like I have never ever 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 been even tempted to try a ginger shot.
Ooh.
I tried the Plenish ones.
Ooh.
And genuinely I feel like it fixed me.
I love that. I'm a ginger shot girly, I can't lie.
I've never been that kind of girl, and I did a ginger shot and I was like, oh my god, I feel like it's just literally fixed me. I feel healed.
Did you like the taste of it though, or did it feel painful?
Yeah, the Plenish ones are really nice. And do you know what else I have also been doing?
Ooh.
It's called mushroom powder.
Okay.
That sounds really bad. I just told you that I'm doing mushroom powder. That's not what I mean.
Let me hear you out here.
Yeah, it's by Bettervits.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, they're I think they're quite a cool company.
Yeah.
But I've been putting their chocolate mushroom powder in like smoothies, or I actually just had it with milk and it was nice. And I never ever try those things because I'm always like, you guys know how I feel about greens.
Yeah.
And they're not greens because I wouldn't be trying them.
Well, they're chocolate flavoured, I mean that.
Yeah, that's probably why I like it, because it is chocolate flavoured.
Yeah.
But it's got loads of good stuff in it, like ashwagandha, lion's mane, all that kind of thing, which I've heard so much about them being good and people are always saying to take them, and I would love to, but I just can't swallow tablets. But I don't know, I just feel absolutely buzzing that I've found ways to perk up my morning a bit and get my vitamins in.
I love that for you.
Yeah, it's making me feel put together and fun.
Like you're living your best that girl life, but not in a that girl green juice way. Just like, I'm taking care of myself and that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, I literally had such low hopes for both things. I did not think I would like either. But I did actually love hearing myself say I loved a mushroom chocolate powder. Kind of sounds crazy, but you obviously can't taste the mushrooms. So I don't know. I just feel like also my appetite's been funky for a while and a lot of things have been making me feel a little bit repulsed. So the fact that I've managed to introduce 2 things that are like vitamins and are actually giving me a boost, making me feel good, and I'm enjoying them. I don't know. It just feels like something's changing.
No, I love that for you. I feel like sometimes I get so caught up in the thought of like taking vitamins and taking care of myself, but it is cool to take care of yourself at the same time. Like sometimes when I take a vitamin, I'm like, oh, am I doing this just for the sake of it, or like because everyone else is doing it? But no, like I barely get outside, as we know. There's no sun in the UK, so like if you want to take some vitamin D, take some vitamin D. Mm-hmm. Like vitamins are very important, and yeah, you can get them from food, and yeah, you can get them from other things, but there's no harm in giving yourself a little extra boost every now and then.
And also, like, my immune system is absolutely whack. I get ill so easily, and I mean, I used to have literally no immune system, like to the point where it was like actually very dangerous because I had no immune system. So if I can do stuff to build it up, I want to, but I know myself, and I can't stick to taking tablets every day. I have tried, and I go through routines where it's like it's okay, but I just get so in my head about taking tablets. So I do think it is nice to know you're doing something good for your body, especially because it's nothing to do with, none of the packaging on these things is like 0 sugar, like added flavorings but no sugar and no fat, and like none of it's not like that. It just feels like I'm doing something extra for myself, so there's nothing weird about it. I like it.
Vibes. I might get myself some. You've inspired me. I'm on my better me journey. Better me, better Ritz.
I mean, Better Ritz, please sponsor us.
And on that note, because we're so happy and having such good vibes right now, I'm going to ruin it. I'm going to ask you for your wobble.
But you always say you're going to ruin it, but this isn't ruining it.
That's true.
Because we're just talking about the realities of being human, and that sometimes things are a little bit rubbish, but they don't take away from the wins.
If anything, that win, or my win as well, felt even better because it was accompanied by a few bad things that make you appreciate the good things more.
Yeah, so you're not ruining anything.
Thank you. That makes me feel better. But tell me your wobble anyway.
My wobble is that I have had a few very anxious days. A couple last week, a couple this week, and it's just been horrible. It's been like an anxiety in my body that I cannot shift. Like my body is just it just feels so tense and so nauseous and so anxious. And it's like, I was trying to explain it to my mum because she was like, oh, like, what's making you anxious? And I was like, there isn't anything that's making me anxious. The only way I can describe it is like my body feels triggered. Yeah, it's like my body's getting a feeling or getting a memory of something that is not even linking up to anything in my brain, but it's been putting me in such a funk, and it's been making just things feel really hard. And for the first time in months last week, I had a moment where I was like, I know I need to take the dog out. I know I need to go out. I know I need to go on a walk, but I cannot do it. Like, everything just felt so scary and so overwhelming. And I was like, I just can't do it. I can't go out. And then I felt I kind of started to spiral a little bit because I was like, oh no, I'm letting myself down. Like, I've overcome this. I can't go backwards. I didn't go backwards. I was fine. But I don't know. It just felt horrible to feel that level of anxiety again. And I guess at the same time, it made me realise how far I've come because I don't feel that, and that used to be my kind of normal.
I feel like the twist that you've just put on it there is really nice because, well, you've probably forgotten how horrible it was even because it's so long ago and you don't live in that reality every day now. So not that it's a nice thing because obviously it's horrible to go through that. Like, no one deserves to go through that. But the fact that you've had a reality check of how different things are now, I hope you've given yourself a pat on the back because it's you've just turned your life around, and yeah, you've had a little blip, but that doesn't mean that you have to start from square one again. Like you've said, you're back in your present, happy, almost anxiety-free self, and that's amazing because you know you've done it before and you can do it again, and if anything comes up again, you know how to deal with it now.
Yeah, and actually my coping mechanisms when I was feeling that anxiety were a lot better than they used to be, so I can put a positive spin on it. Sometimes things are just rubbish and you don't always have to put a positive spin on it, but this is one of those situations where I can be like, it's horrible that I've been feeling like that, but actually look how rare this is for me to feel this way now.
I love that.
And your wobble, please.
My wobble. Please tell me.
Please.
Do you know what? I don't really have that many for this week, which is good. Happy days.
Happy days.
My wobble is quite a literal wobble. My hand wobbled when I was drinking my coffee in bed the other day.
I was wondering where that was going.
I spilled half a full cup, yes, of burning hot coffee all over myself. So every morning I drink coffee in bed. So that's like me and my partner's like, our partner sounded so official there. My partner. Me and my boyfriend's like morning routine. We wake up, we make a coffee, we sit in bed for like half an hour and just wake up.
Just soak in the morning.
Soak in that morning nectar.
Just like
my
your
cup.
Body was soaking in that.
I'm soaking in that coffee.
Boiling hot coffee.
And my sheets and my pyjamas.
Oh no.
It was great. So that really kind of put me in a bad mood for the day because I was like, right, if the day's starting with me covered in coffee, bed sheets are in, mattress soaked, inside of the duvet soaked, how do you even clean a duvet? Or like a pillow?
Yeah.
Like the actual inside.
Especially when the weather's been, like, it is sunny, but it's not warm, so how are you going to dry it? You can't tumble dry it.
No, and it's going to smell like rotten milk. Because it's feathers as well. I'm bougie like that.
Jaycee's inspired me. When I move out, I'm getting like feathered pillows and duvets and stuff. This is a side note, but they make you feel like you're sleeping in a hotel.
They're so comfy. You can even get like thicker ones than what we've got, and they're so nice.
So I don't like a pillow that's so thick that I'm like upright.
Yeah, I mean maybe get the same ones that we have there.
Yeah, send me the link.
It's like squishy. I'll send you the link. Don't worry.
Anyways, sorry. You spilled coffee.
So I don't know how to wash them. My duvet might start smelling like mouldy milk in a few days, and it was just a bad vibe to start the day on, but bad 10 minutes does not equal a bad 24 hours.
And I feel like that is a good lesson in not taking signs.
I was going to say, I thought you were going to say that's a good lesson to not drink anything in bed.
No, I love a cup of tea in bed. I'm always,
okay. Thanks, Mum.
Love to crawl back into my bed after having a drink. That made it sound like I get drunk and crawl back into my bed. I mean, like with a cup of tea. Anyway, no, I feel like we're the sort of people that we could very easily go, I dropped a plate this morning, so clearly my whole day is cursed. Like, it's very easy to see little signs. And I found it a lot when I was in early recovery as well. There was one time, it's a really rogue story, there was one time where I used to get stress nosebleeds, and I was really stressed about the dinner I was having, and my nose bled all over it.
Oh no.
And I was like, it's a sign I'm not meant to eat. And there's just things like that where you can... What? Well, I did end up eating because...
No, obviously. But I'm just like, it's just the way that your brain like computes it like that. And I know your brain like tricks you into fully believing that that's a sign from the universe when like, what?
But there could be little signs, like positive signs everywhere.
But you just don't look for them because we always constantly look for the negatives.
Look for the positive signs.
Yes.
See, I could take it as a positive sign today that both my trains were on time and
Wow.
my journey here was great and ran smoothly. That
Because
means the day's going to be great.
Yeah, and that's something that you would probably overlook because you're sat on the train on your phone just chilling and you're like, wow, everything worked out for me actually.
I could have been like, my day's going to be terrible because it's a sign, because there's a man sat in the seat that I reserved.
But you just move on.
Yeah.
Find another seat.
Mm-hmm.
And if not, you could have asked him to move. You paid for that seat.
Yeah.
Sure, right.
Thank you.
Don't make me get angry.
Except the man next to him was open mouth coughing and sneezing.
Oh, okay.
And I thought, glad you're next to him and not me.
Yeah.
I was still close enough that I was kind of going, oh, like moving my head away. And the guy next to me kept like giving him a side eye.
Bombastic.
Because I was like,
side eye.
you need to be covering your mouth. If you're coughing.
In public.
Like, how have we gone from wearing masks to
Openly.
literally toddler coughing in people's faces? Like, stop it.
That is disgusting.
We.
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 Oh, yeah. Yeah. We together are about to enter the next episode.
Wow. Smooth.
So, we hope you enjoy this one. I enjoyed it.
I think it's really good. I think it's a very needed episode and could also be quite useful if you're struggling with food at the moment. We will explain it all in a second, so we will pass over to
Past us.
past us, kind of present day us for you guys though.
Enjoy.
Hello, we are back in the comfort zone. We wanted to have our wins and wobbles up to date because no one can predict what's going to happen in the next 2 weeks. Touch wood, nothing bad, and the wobbles will be quite tame. I don't really need to give you that much of an explanation, but there you go, you have one.
Thank you. I really appreciated that.
Oh, you need. I actually wasn't explaining it for you, but I'm really glad that helps you.
I enjoyed it. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
This week we are talking about food freedom, which I feel like is a big topic.
Yeah, there's a lot to cover.
It doesn't make me nervous. I'm so aware of saying the right and wrong thing, but also we're just talking about our journeys, so it's fine.
I also straight up want to say that I think that the right thing for some people is always going to be the wrong thing for another.
Yeah, that's true.
And actually it changes from day to day when you're struggling with your relationship with food anyway. There might be something that would be super helpful one week and would trigger you the next.
Yeah.
So I think as long as people know we're coming at it from a place of two girls who used to struggle with our relationships with food, who now have such a free relationship with food.
Yeah.
Like, we eat whatever we want, whenever we want, but we used to struggle with restriction and we used to not be able to do that. So we understand the mindsets and the cognitions behind disordered eating.
Yes.
But if you are a person who is quite sensitive to this topic and is quite easily triggerable, then please approach this with caution. We are obviously going to do our best to be a completely safe space and never be triggering because we both know what is triggering.
Yeah.
But if that's something you need to do to protect yourself, that's okay. You can come back to this episode at a different time when you feel ready, or you can just go back and listen to one of our other 15 episodes? What are we on now?
There's so many.
We have been doing this for 4 months.
Time has absolutely flown.
Time flies when you're in
When
Time flies when you're in the comfort zone.
Yes, exactly that.
Perfect.
Okay, shall we jump into it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like a good way to start this is to dive into what food freedom really means to us. Not the Oxford Dictionary definition, but as two girls that have been through it. I mean, on social media, food freedom can be portrayed in so many different ways that it kind of loses its purpose. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I see what I eat in a day and it's a girl with food freedom. I'm like, honey, no, that doesn't sit right with me. But we are all different at the end of the day, but still, food freedom to us, what would you say it means?
Food freedom to me is the ability to listen to my mind, listen to my body, and eat what I want without judgment and without limits or rules.
100%. It's quite simple when you put it like that. It's just, if you fancy something, you just have it and you don't even think twice about it and you move on.
Yeah.
There's no guilt involved. There's no questioning whether you should or shouldn't eat that thing. It's just, okay.
Being free with food.
Mentally and physically.
Yeah, I feel like my neck's really at an angle to look at you. I'm going to turn a little bit.
We are quite close.
Yeah, we're not usually
quite cosy.
I'm usually far away from you because you smell so bad.
I know.
That was a joke. Jaycie actually smells like roses and dandelions.
My middle name's Rose, so I'll take that. Thank you.
Oh, my name means Rose.
Ah, wow.
Another weird thing. I feel like we have lots of weird connections.
Our postcodes are similar.
There's just been loads of things where
weird
I've been like, oh,
coincidences.
did this ever happen to you when you were a kid, or did you ever do this when you were a child? And it was like, no one else would.
Yeah.
But we both did the same things. I think we're just the same person in a different font, to be honest.
In a different font. Would you be cursive or would you be a standard font? I think you'd be cursive. You'd be me in cursive.
I'm you, but just a bit weirder.
Yeah.
I can get on board with that.
Thanks.
Anyways, food freedom.
Yeah.
When I think about the topic of food freedom, the first thing that comes to mind is what I kind of said to you earlier.
Yeah.
Which was about the fact that food freedom doesn't look like those what I eat in a day on Instagram.
Yeah.
Food freedom to me is eating a range of foods and eating what I want every day. And you know what? On some days that means I don't get my 2 a day, let alone my 5 a day. Like there are some days where maybe I'm busy, maybe I'm feeling a bit down, maybe I just don't have the energy or the motivation, and I will eat more, air quotations, processed foods and less fruit and veg. And I don't come away from that day thinking, oh my gosh, tomorrow I need to eat cleaner and greener and have more fruit and veg. And I don't actually, even while I'm having that day, think, oh, I'm not eating healthy. Like food freedom to me is the ability to have days where I eat what I can.
And that's okay.
And that's okay. And on other days, I might have more fruit and veg, but it's a balance. But the whole idea of balance, I think, sometimes feels like when you see a what I eat in a day that's like, what I eat in a day, a balanced diet, and the balance all exists in every single meal.
Yeah.
My life isn't like that. Like I don't think every single meal I have would be a balanced meal.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with that because I know I'm getting my nutrients in. I know I'm getting enough food. And at the end of the day, if I really fancy something that, I don't know, maybe is a little bit more processed, maybe it doesn't have all the nutrients in it under the sun,
that's fine.
but I know it's okay for me to have it because for me, balance happens over a period of time, not all in one meal or in each day.
100%. It's I want to say the 80-20 rule is one that's kind of changed the way that we view balance and the way we view food in a negative way, probably, because 80-20 is a big contrast. For 80% of your life to go about eating society's idea of healthy foods, that's unrealistic, personally, I think.
Well, actually, what society deems as healthy is kind of difficult to even define because they come out with new rules and new demonizations of foods every other day. So trying to keep up with that to even fill the quota of your like healthy foods is so difficult. It's like, is a low-fat yogurt good for you or is a low-fat yogurt bad for you because it's more processed, more preservatives, more chemicals?
100%. I saw a thing the other day where they've stopped doing don't quote me on this, for I think it's either crumpets or oats because they're now suddenly deemed a bad food. Like what?
Says who?
Exactly, says who. And
crumpets make up a large percentage of my diet, as do oats.
Exactly.
And I will be sticking with that.
It's like you have to really think about what is defining a food as healthy or not healthy. There's no such thing. Healthy is your body or your diet when you're just listening to it. Yeah, no, it's true. Get passionate about it. Get into it. But there's just no such thing as...
There's no such thing as one definition of healthy. Healthy looks different for everyone.
Exactly.
Healthy for me looks like some days waking up and having crumpets and having oats and not putting fruit on them because I can't stand the texture of wet fruit on oat.
On oat,
singular oat. Yes, food freedom to me is having one oat for breakfast, actually. Guys, do you actually have a really healthy relationship with food? No, but like, sometimes my days do look like 90% carbohydrate, 10% vegetable. You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
yeah, the 80-20 rule is just ridiculous and should be thrown out and we shouldn't even think about it. But it's hard when it's thrown in your face all the time. Like, I understand how it can be very easy to fall into the trap of, oh, does this count as my 80%? Does this count as my 20%? Have I used up my quota for the day? Like, it's so easy to get so blindsided by what we're fed on social media. Fed? Did you like that?
Pardon the pun.
But yeah, it can taint our opinion on food freedom and what we define freedom as by still putting it in a category when really there should be no definition. 80-20, to me personally, isn't food freedom because you're still keeping yourself in this restriction of categorising what you're eating.
Yeah, well, you've got a 20% limit on having fun, basically.
Exactly.
I remember when those reels were going around and everyone was posting like my 80%, my 20%, and the 80% would be like the gym, productive, like sat at the desk, working, walking on a treadmill whilst working, drinking 8 litres of water, and then the 20% would be like having a donut and like going to a party.
As if it's still deemed as bad.
Yeah, and I remember I really wanted to make a reel kind of counteracting that at the time, which sort of I never did. I don't know why.
You should do that.
But maybe I will. I wanted to make it more like that and be like, I don't have an 80-20%, or if I do, to be honest, it's probably the other way around.
Yeah.
And actually, I am a happy and healthy human.
Yeah.
So we don't need these set rules and set restrictions because that is just another thing for you to put upon yourself and to cause you stress around food, and it's just not necessary. And food freedom, to be honest, once I achieved food freedom, and I honestly believe I have food freedom because I have days where I literally eat like a toddler. Not as in I eat the amount that a toddler eats, but
No,
I'm
the
like,
foods.
yeah,
Yeah.
everything's like beige, and I get funny about textures and like
Yeah.
certain textures on other things. Sometimes I just eat, like, I know that if you were like a health freak, you would probably look at what I was eating and go, oh, there's not enough nutrients in it. But my body is fine. My body is healthy. I have energy. I am more focused than I ever was when I was trying to be, air quotations, healthy.
Yeah.
When I achieved food freedom, in the way that that looks for me, my whole life just stopped revolving around food because I no longer have the obsession or the feelings of like, if I eat something that's deemed as unhealthy in the morning, I must balance it out by having something lighter or healthier in the afternoon. I never think like that anymore.
That's such an important point, and the fact that you don't think about food is so powerful. I feel like that's a really good, not goal to set yourself, but if you're on the journey of recovering from a restrictive mindset, when you get to that point where you realise you're not revolving your whole day around food and you're not waking up thinking, what am I going to have for lunch? What am I going to have for dinner? Freedom is literally having a free mind. So that's a really good kind of place of realisation, to know that you've reached a place where you actually feel comfortable around food, because it can be really hard. I mean, I thought I had food freedom 2 years ago, and now I look back and I'm like, I definitely did not. But there really is a place where you don't constantly think about food, and I never ever thought that that was real. Like, I genuinely never thought that that was real.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's such a nice place to be in, when you can actually think about conversations and think about what you want to do instead of what you want to eat. There's so much more to life than food. Like, food is just, what's the quote? Another quote. Eat to live, don't live to eat.
Yeah, I like that.
Quote of the episode.
There's just so much more to think about. Like, when I think about all the time that I spent wrapped up in what I was eating, what I was how I was moving, what my body looked like, I think, oh my god, hours and hours and hours that I could have spent doing things I enjoyed, that I could have spent thinking about things that I liked and that would make me happy, instead of bullying myself constantly. And the other thing is, I think this might not apply to everyone, and this might be more of a sort of, when you are really struggling with an eating disorder mindset, I think it can feel really scary to think about getting to a place where you have food freedom, because you think, I will be out of control.
Yeah.
And you think, I'm going to gain weight forever. I'm going to eat junk all day. Not that I believe in junk food, but you know what I mean. Like, I'm just going to eat unhealthily, and I'm just going to be unhealthy, and I'm going to be out of control. And it's literally not like that. Like, even when I've just said, you know, some days I have days where I eat what society would probably deem as a really unhealthy diet. Other days I eat superfoods and
whatever
I
you
don't know.
want. That's the thing. You don't even know, because it's like you just eat whatever you want.
Yeah, like other days I'll have days where I eat more like what society does deem as healthy. I'm not out of control, and I'm not unhealthy. I have a balance, and the way I have found balance is by trusting my body and letting myself eat what I want. I don't overly crave, in air quotations, like anything we're saying that's like overly healthy, all of that. You know, that's not how we think about food. It's more that we're talking about it in a sense of like, that's what the general society's kind of view is.
Yeah.
I don't crave more of one thing than another, because I don't restrict more of one thing than another. I eat what's available to me. I eat what I fancy in that moment, and my body lets me know when it wants fruit and veg.
Yeah.
And I do eat fruit and veg, and that, like, it's not like I gave myself permission to eat the foods that I was scared of and I could never stop eating them. Like, you are going to crave the things that you're scared of if you don't let yourself eat them, because your body wants them, because you need fats, you need sugar, you need carbohydrates to live. Your body needs those things, and you are going to crave them if you're not going to let yourself have them. But once you start eating them, that sort of mental hunger and those like food obsessions go away, because your body can learn to trust you and learns that it's actually going to get what it wants. But also, like, I know that it's really scary to think about the idea of food freedom, because you think, oh my gosh, yeah, I would be out of control and I wouldn't know how to limit myself. And that is a leap of faith that you have to take, and you have to know that you are going to be so much happier, you know, not micromanaging your food and having so much more brain space, so much more energy, and an ability to rationalize that you would never have when you're restricting and obsessing and thinking constantly about what you're going to eat and the nutrients in it and all the numbers and everything. Like, it's just, you just have to trust that fear is an eating disorder fear, and you're not going to gain weight into infinity, and
Yeah.
it's going to be okay. And from girls that have been there, like, it is going to be okay.
I've experienced this pretty much exactly as you've just explained. When I first decided to fully, I say go all in, I don't really define what it was, but yeah, when I first decided to heal my relationship with food, I honestly, all I craved was chocolate every day. I mean, one of the things that I did was I used to hoard chocolate bars under my bed. I honestly had like 3 shoe boxes full of chocolate bars, which all went out of date because I never actually let myself eat them, which is quite sad. The amount of money that I must have spent on chocolate. But yeah, that was like the biggest thing that I restricted. And when I started to allow all of the foods into my diet and give myself complete freedom and listen to my mental hunger as well as my physical hunger, I would crave chocolate 24/7. I would wake up in the middle of the night, eat a chocolate bar and then go back to sleep. That's how much my body was like, you need this sugar, you need this chocolate, that's all you're thinking about. And for a good like 2 months, I thought that would never stop. I was like, what am I doing? I'm doing this all wrong. Everyone's lying to me. Nothing makes sense. And then it slowly went away. But like I didn't even notice the whole process of it slowly going away. It'd be like 3 days and then I hadn't had a bar of chocolate and I'd be like, oh wait, that food noise is gone and I'm not hearing that voice anymore. And then it can take any amount of time. I mean, I don't really know technically how long it took me, but it could be a year, it can be 2 years that you still have that food noise for until it quietens down. But yeah, I think if you're in that in-between stage where you're hearing what we're saying, but you're like, no, you're lying to me, it's not stopping, it does. But you just have to stick out the whole process. Like, you just have to wait it out and have to keep going through it, no matter how uncomfortable you feel, no matter how much weight you're gaining, no matter anything. You just have to push through, and it does slowly stop. Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah.
And it does get easier. And
yeah,
neither of us control our weight.
no.
Both of us exercise only in ways that we enjoy,
Yeah.
when we enjoy. Neither of us have a set exercise routine. Neither of us count calories. Neither of us have a limit of what we eat in a day. We both don't. You don't weigh yourself, do you? No. I don't weigh myself either.
I love how that was a question.
I was about to say it, and I was like, I've never asked you if you weigh yourself. So
What's your weight?
Yeah. So, Jaycie, tell us your weight. No. But I know that my body's not changed based on the fact that my clothes fit me the same.
Yeah, and I did outgrow all of my clothes, obviously, in the whole process.
Oh, like, yeah, I'm different. I'm a different size now, but
no, but I know what you mean.
Yeah,
once you get to that place of full food freedom, your body kind of knows, and you can trust your body, and it can regulate itself.
Yeah.
But you have to make sure you're not trying to control that set point. Do you know what I mean? Like, I thought that I was at my, I don't even know what to call it, but like at my
healthy weight, yeah.
But at that point, you're still thinking, I want this to be my healthy weight, so I'm going to make it my healthy weight, not actually listening to your body.
That's so true. Like, I remember when, I think it's really difficult as well when you do have medical support and they give you this like set BMI, set kind of weight range to get to, because you're always going to think, oh, I just need to sit on the lowest end of healthy and then I'll be healthy and then I'll be fine. But you're still controlling your weight. Like, I had to let all of that go. I don't know what my weight is. I had to get weighed to go on one of those like Go Ape things.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I'm sitting above what my set point was set as when I was in eating disorder treatment. Yeah. I actually cannot remember, like, genuinely, and I'm buzzing about it. I can't fully remember what the number was, and I don't remember what the number was when I was in treatment. But I'm pretty sure that was the first time I'd seen my weight for ages, and I do think I was above my like set point that they set me.
Yeah.
But like, I honestly feel like I look how I am meant to look. Like, my body looks like
it's you.
Yeah, like, I don't ever look at my body and judge it, but I just feel like myself. Like, I don't feel like any need to contort or like control anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like, I don't know,
like a neutral standpoint. You just don't think about your body.
Yeah, like I just feel like me. I don't think like I want to be slimmer, I want to be bigger, I want to have bigger arms, I want to have a smaller, like, I don't think any of that. I'm just like, my body just looks like it, like the product of a healthy relationship with food.
Yeah.
And I thought that would never happen. I thought, if I am free around food, I'm going to literally gain weight into infinity. Yeah. And you know what? Some people might gain weight to a higher weight than what is in that healthy bracket that they set you, but that's because BMI is a load of crap, and nobody actually knows what your set point is as a number. Like, your body will get to that itself. And
exactly, there's no calculation or no one else can tell you what you should weigh. That's just not a thing. Like, that's like telling someone what their eyesight is just by looking at them. That's a really bad explanation, but that's like me looking at you and going, you can't see this far away because I just know.
I think I'll prescribe you a -2 in each eye just for vibes.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just going based off vibes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that is literally what it's like.
Yeah.
But because also there's actually so much evidence that people can be just as healthy as people in the healthy weight range
Yeah.
when they're overweight.
Yeah.
So I think going into, I know this wasn't an episode about weight gain, but going into like food freedom and thinking, oh my gosh, what if I get overweight? Bin off those ideas altogether, because your body will stop. Obviously, we are talking about, we've both come from like restrictive places.
Yeah.
I know that there are people that struggle with binge eating disorder, and I don't know a lot about binge eating disorder.
Yeah.
I know there's definitely a difference between extreme hunger and binging, which we can talk about in another episode at some point.
Yeah.
Because I know people struggle with that, but I feel like I'm going on so many tangents.
No, but it's helpful.
I'm not going to go into that right now.
No, that's fine.
I remember reading Tabitha Farrar's book and finding that quite helpful about extreme hunger. If you're in a place of extreme hunger and you're like, am I binging? Da da da.
Yeah.
Look into that. But regardless, yeah, we obviously both come from a place of like restrictive eating.
Yeah.
But your body's not going to just never stop. Like the cravings, the response to restriction, it goes away once you fuel yourself.
And as scary as it may seem, please just trust the process.
It's to someone who has a complete obsession with their body, it is the scariest thing in the world to think that you're losing control of your weight and your body and what you're eating. But I promise you're not losing control, and there comes a point where you really don't feel like that anymore. I don't ever think about food in terms of control.
Yeah.
Like if I want something, like yesterday, say, I went out for dinner with my friends, I had a whole pizza. Then afterwards, they were kind of thinking about getting the bill. I leaned over, I was like, I'm going to have a dessert.
Yeah.
Got the dessert menu. There was no guilt.
No.
There was no
fear of judgment as well. Like,
No.
you're an independent person. You're allowed to have what your body wants. You don't have to adhere to what everyone at the table's doing as well. If they don't want to get dessert, it doesn't make you greedy.
Yeah.
You just want dessert. Like.
Yeah. Like, but that's the greedy is the exact, like, I don't have that thought anymore.
Yeah.
If I want more once I've finished eating,
Yeah.
I don't ever think, oh, I'm greedy.
No.
I literally just think, I want a dessert.
Exactly.
My dessert stomach's open.
Yeah.
I literally don't think that. And that is
Yeah.
absolutely insane to me when I consider that I used to be so stuck to a meal plan, where even when I was trying to, like, you know, get better and I was on a meal plan, I used to be like, oh my God, if I have anything over this, it's going to make me literally balloon and like lose control. All of these thoughts. And I think the second you commit to letting go of that and moving away from the whole meal plan and control and limits, you start to realize that food is just food, and the numbers don't really equate to anything. Like, you will just naturally eat what your body needs when you have food freedom,
and it will tell you when you're full as well, and it will tell you when you're hungry. And after a while, definitely not at the beginning. I mean, for me anyway, my body had no hunger signals or fullness signals, but it does happen over time. I do get to points now where I'm like, I am physically full or I'm hungry, and I can acknowledge that and I can give my body what it's asking for. Like your body does know how to work at the end of the day. Like, that's what it's built for. Its function is to keep you alive and keep you healthy and keep you functioning. So it will get to a point where you can trust it. It's not going to lie to you. It's not going to lie to you and say you're hungry when you're not. It's hungry because it needs food and it needs fuel and it needs to keep your heart pumping and keep your lungs breathing and keep your brain ticking. Like, it's not going to trick you into gaining weight forever.
No. If you don't respond to your body's calls, it's never going to trust you.
Exactly.
And it needs to know that it's going to get what it's asking for, and then it won't ask for it
anymore
in such an intense way, because it will learn that actually you have a normal routine.
I like to think of it as a car. So when you get like warning signals on the car, say, I don't know, your engine needs checking or something, if you ignore that over and over and over again, the car's probably going to keep working for a bit, but at some point
break down on the hard shoulder.
At some point you're going to break down on the hard shoulder, and it's going to be at the point of no return. Or say you need to drive somewhere. This is a very literal explanation. I feel like this is quite a commonly used one, but say you're driving somewhere and your petrol tank is empty, you need to put petrol in it to keep going. That's just facts. Like, your body is a machine at the end of the day. Yeah, your brain can think different things, and that's kind of a more, what's the word, like, variable thing. Does that make sense? But your body is a literal machine. Like, it has mechanics and it works in a certain way, and you can't change the way it works. Like, your brain can convince you that you can change the way that your body works and you can decide to do something one way or another, but you can't. Your body functions in a more literal sense. So you have to treat it like that, and you have to listen to it, and you have to fix it when it's broken.
Facts.
Thank you.
And when you were saying that as well, I was thinking, like, not to be blunt, but the more you restrict, the more you're gonna want to eat.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, binge restrict cycles are a thing.
Yeah.
But, like, the more you restrict, the more those signals are going to happen because your body doesn't trust you and your body's like, please, I need food. So, actually, in the long run, it's so much easier to just listen to your body and let it, because that distress is just so much less. Poet, didn't know it. Yeah, I just think it's such a difficult thing, and especially with social media making balance feel like, you know, it's like a bowl of oats and then blueberries on top and then you have an apple and then you have a smoothie and then you have your greens. Like, it's okay if your breakfast looks like 2 massive bowls of cereal and a cup of coffee or pastries and pancakes. Like, it's okay. Those foods are not the enemy.
No.
Those foods are not going to harm you.
As long as you're fueling your body, you're doing all right.
Yeah, and, you know, obviously, science, your body does need a range of nutrients. It need vitamin. It need vitamins.
It need a vitamin.
Why use that word when few work well? But, like, it just...
It's not the end of the world. Like, if you don't have your 5 a day or 4 a day or 3 a day or 2 a day, you've got hundreds of thousands of days in your life, maybe, hopefully.
I have no idea.
Maybe a few thousand. Nah, more than that.
A few thousand, that's not a very long life.
No. But 1 day, 2 days, a week, a month, a year, it doesn't matter at the end of the day.
No.
I didn't eat vegetables until I was, I think, 18, 19. I was fine.
Yeah.
I didn't eat a single piece of real veg.
She made it here.
And I made it. I'm okay.
Yeah.
So, like, just don't worry about it. Don't overthink it. As soon as you stop overthinking it, you'll just feel completely free and aware and present and more like yourself, I feel.
Yeah. Oh, you can't be yourself when you're consumed by
Yeah.
food noise and food worries, and
There's just no room for it.
no,
Yeah.
there really isn't.
Perfect. Should we jump into some questions?
Yes, I did ask for some questions. I thought I was going to sneeze then, that's why I was staring at the light. And apparently 1 in 4 people have the thing where when you look at the sun, it makes you sneeze, but I've never met another person who looks at the sun and it makes them sneeze. So if that's you, please can you comment, because I feel very alone.
I thought you'd look at the sun when you feel like you're going to sneeze and you don't want to sneeze.
No, it makes me sneeze, so like I
Oh.
get the sneeze out instead of that horrible, like I need to sneeze but I can't
And it's
sneeze.
like tickling.
Let's move on to what's on your mind, because we have asked on Instagram for some questions again. I know we did have some comments, people were saying they don't have Instagram, would they be able to ask questions? We can't really do it like on the spot because you can't put a post out on Spotify, but if you do have any questions, please put them in the comment section and we might come back to them in a later episode, base an episode around it, or we'll reply to you.
Yeah.
So, yeah. First question, how do you know what you want to actually eat and when, knowing if it's the ED talking or... and then it cuts off?
I think you'll know if it's the ED talking. Like, just be really, really honest with yourself. And you think, if you're sat there and you're hungry and you want chocolate, but you're thinking, oh, actually, that means that I want a banana. You know that that's not what you actually want.
If you think it's your eating disorder talking, it probably is.
Yeah.
Because that lives in your brain. That is a cognition in your brain. The healthy part of your brain doesn't think like that.
Yeah.
So chances are it's your eating disorder. If you're having to question it, probably your eating disorder. And I think the healthy part of your brain, when you're in recovery, when you're in a good place with food, the healthy part of your brain is never going to combat itself. It's never going to send you a signal that's like, I want a biscuit.
Yeah.
And then go, scratch that. I don't want a biscuit.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. That's 2 parts of your brain having a kind of argument. And I think if the doubt is there, assume it's the eating disorder thoughts.
Yeah, I agree. And if you want something, you'll know you want it. Like, if I'm hungry and I think... If I'm hungry, sometimes I don't know what I'm craving, to be fair. I can be like, oh, I just don't feel like anything, but I know I'm hungry. At that point, I'd give myself options, maybe. Throw out 3 things that I have in my cupboard that I could quickly make into a meal and just think what one actually feels the best to me.
But pick it based off what you fancy, not what you think is healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't weigh up the options and be like, this is the healthiest, I'm going to have this one. You have to be really honest with yourself and say, I'm craving, or I feel like this one more than the rest.
Also, like, I think it's hard when you've come from a place of being really obsessed with like health and fitness and stuff to hear people say like, don't choose what's healthiest, because you're thinking like, yeah, but I do want to be healthy. And I think it's perfectly fine to want to be healthy, but you need to remember that health isn't what you've been sold it as, and health isn't that one thing. And actually, to find your version of health, you will have to eat things that you believed were bad for you because they're not bad for you. And it is about balance, and you can eat foods that are deemed as healthy, but it needs to be in a range, and it needs to be you getting enough of all food groups and all nutrients.
Yeah, agreed.
Should we have one more question?
Yeah.
And then
we
we'll
can finish the episode, yeah.
How do the ED thoughts go away, or are you just consciously ignoring those thoughts?
Ooh, good one. I think at the beginning you do have to consciously ignore them. They're not just going to instantly go away. You're not going to wake up one day and think, oh, I'm healed. I want to be healed. They're just going to stop. They won't stop, but you just have to learn to ignore them, and then they will quieten down because you're not giving in to them.
Do you know what I kind of think of it as? You know, at school when it was like, if someone's bullying you or if someone's being horrible to you, if you ignore them, they'll get bored and it'll go away.
Yeah.
That's how I kind of see it. It's like the more you ignore them, the more they'll teach
give up.
them that you're not going to listen.
Yeah.
And you're not paying attention, it's not relevant, and they will just go away. To start with, you are going to actively have to be going against them, not just ignoring them, because ignoring them is not going to work. You need to challenge them. You need to
do the opposite.
Yeah, do opposite actions. Give yourself an opposite thought to start with, and eventually, by doing that, they kind of learn that that's not how it works anymore. That's not how I think. They're not going to listen to me, so I'm not going to bother, basically.
Yeah.
They don't just go away by you just going, oh, I'm just not going to listen. It's obviously not that easy. The cognitions are there. They're rooted. They're difficult, but yeah.
Yeah, opposite. You can't really control your thoughts. Like, you'll always have thoughts that you're like, why am I thinking this? But they will slowly stop.
Yeah.
Over time. But, can you hear the rain?
Yeah, the rain is crazy.
Whoa. They will slowly get quieter and quieter, and it's just a matter of time. It can be different for everyone. I wish there was a set time scale that we could give, but just don't give up.
Just know that it is possible.
Yeah.
And even if you're someone that feels like it's not, I also felt like that. I'm sure you also felt like that. Everyone who's ever been in that position and got better from it has probably thought, this is never going to change. I know, I definitely thought that.
No, me too.
I was completely hopeless. I was like, nothing's ever getting better.
Yeah.
But it did, because I put the work in.
Yes, and it will be hard, and it will cause a lot of tears, but it's so worth it.
It's a short-term pain for a long-term...
Happy life.
I was going to say gain, but I don't know if that's the right word in this context.
Probably not. But yeah, if not now, then when?
If not now, when?
You've got this.
We're full of quotes lately.
I know. I feel like every episode I'm like, quote of the ep. Quote of the ep. We should start a comfort zone Pinterest.
QOTE.
Quote of the ep. Quote.
Oh yeah, that always says quote.
On that, we hope you enjoyed this episode. Sorry, I just...
No, I said on that.
On that.
And then just stopped.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you found it helpful, please let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very passionate about this.
Yeah, there's so much to say, but I do get nervous. I think that's just how it is.
I think we're both just very aware of not wanting to trigger anyone or make anything worse, but also you do have to talk about difficult things in order to help people who are struggling with difficult things. And so I hope that this will have been much more helpful than it was triggering.
Yes.
If you are struggling with an eating disorder and you want support, we will leave links to Beat, the UK's eating disorder charity. I know the UK is our largest listening area, but also if you know any reliable and good eating disorder charities in your country that we can link in the description, please comment those down below, because obviously we're from the UK, and even though I can Google charities, I don't know which ones are reliable, and I wouldn't want to send anyone to a questionable or a charity that you don't want to support. Yes. So on that note, we'll love you and leave you.
Yes, we hope you have a lovely week, and we will see you next Sunday back in the comfort zone.
And you can do hard things.
You are stronger than you think.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.